2023 Philadelphia Eagles running back room. We're doing the rooms as we're 20 days out from camp. DeAndre Swift, number one prep player in the state of Pennsylvania. How I know this, I remember when Mario Diaz was recruiting him in Pennsylvania, and a lot of teams down in the Southeastern Conference, including Ed Ogeron, a bunch of people were recruiting him to come and play at their colleges. He was a big name that was going around the SEC, and they thought really highly of him in his play when he was the number one prep player in Pennsylvania. St. Joe's Prep, guy ends up being a second-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, out of Georgia. And he is a good player there. He's one of 3 NFC running backs to go for over 875 yards and 7 touchdowns in each of the last 3 years. So, and 2 years ago, he had 62 catches. Behind this offensive line, could that be more of an opportunity for him to increase those numbers? Would it shock me if I saw 1,100 yards rushing, 400 catching, 45 catches? No. I think of all the people they have in this room, he's got the most upside and most potential. So for me, I mean, it's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of investment. But for me, when I look at what they did here, this is kind of like a Gardner Johnson deal. Remember what you got Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson was 9 days before the start of the NFL season, and he was making $837,000 and buried on the bottom of the roster in New Orleans, who they knew this year was going to be in salary cap purgatory. So they had to, and they had just made a move to get Honey Badger and bring him back. So getting Gardner Johnson at the deal that they got and him turning out to be a Pro Bowl type player is amazing. That was another amazing move by Howie. And so this DeAndre Swift kind of smells of that. This kind of smells of that. That first game of the year a year ago, man, did we not come away from that game going like this? That kid's good. Okay? That kid's good. He's a good ball player. He's young too. Health has been an issue, man. And he's a versatile kid. Very talented. Very talented. I actually think that this is the off-season move that they made. I know it was during the draft, but getting him and putting this guy in the building in here, that's a heck of a move. I actually like this player. Now, to me, I'd like to see another power back. Let's get to that. Rashad Penny. First 5 years, 5.7 yards per carry every time he stepped on the field, which is a Seahawk record. Best year was 2021, 749, 6.3 yards a carry. Now, again, last 5 years, averages 2 starts a year. He's had 11 starts in his 5 years. Was a first-round pick and run out of Seattle. However, every single time that he touches the ball, it's between 5 and 6 yards a carry. It's not that the guy sucks. It's that the guy sucks at staying healthy. That's all this is. You guys can keep... See, your truth is right, too. Sills, he's good. He is. He's just not good enough. And what I mean by enough, this guy doesn't play past 10 games. But here's the thing. There's really no investment. There's really no gamble. And if Rashad Penny's healthy, but you see, here we go again. You can't say Rashad Penny if he's healthy. You don't get that latitude after 5 years. All of a sudden now, he's healthy? Because why? he's wearing Eagle Green? That's pathetic. That's pathetic thinking. You're not actually saying who he is. He's a talented ball player who averages between 5 and 6.3 yards a carry. Problem is, he's never healthy, ever, ever. You could come up with fantasy talk. What is it? I'll take him over this. No, you won't. No, you won't. Kenneth Gainwell is a better player than Rashad Penny. Why? Because he's going to be standing in week 17. Kenneth Gainwell is more valuable to the Eagles than Rashad Penny is right now because of who he is. He's written the first 5 chapters of his NFL career. Okay? And you want to add a new one. You want to add a new one. You can't. Because it's not the story. Can't. Andres goes, I think some guys blossom when they feel the reality of being able to win a championship. But Andre, that's got nothing to do with health. I'm not saying that he's not a motivated player. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win. I'm not saying that he's not a great pro. I'm saying he's never healthy. Okay? He's going for a contract? Sure. Kenneth Gainwell. 181 yards, another 5.5-yard carry guy. Postseason, 236 in 3 playoff games. You know, if I were going to look at Kenneth Gainwell and go, who do I think he kind of reminds me of? Pretty much just about every single back that's a second or third team guy in the league. Okay? Pretty much any guy that's second or third team. Yeah. I don't think he's a bad ball player, but I think he's a dude. Boston Scott, 54 carries, 217 and 22, 3 touchdowns. Had a TD against the Giants and the Niners, I think, in the postseason. Again, another dude. Because believe me, last year if Howie Roseman thought that those 2 guys were better than Miles Sanders, they'd have played more. They'd have played more. They would have started acclimating them into the starting lineup more. Instead, Miles Sanders, he got the majority and the bulk of the carries, and he got a Pro Bowl year out of it. 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. They'd have moved him in. Remember, Howie wants to go cheap here. So once again, overall, and looking at who they are here and the running back room, of all the rooms, it's probably the second worst room in the team next to the linebacker. Well, no, I'll say this is probably the worst room. Swift kind of brings the room up, but it's worse than the linebacker room because the linebackers, between Nolan Smith, between N'Kobe, with Reddick there, you still don't know what you got there. Kind of you know who all these players are here. You know who Rashad Penny is. Or excuse me, you know what Rashad Penny is. You know what Kenneth Gainwell is. And you know who Boston Scott is. To add any other narrative around these guys, again, is just wishful thinking. You guys have all been in the system, and Howie's notorious for elevating guys and wanting to go cheaper. There's a reason Miles Sanders is making $7 million. By the way, I said this a couple months ago. That $7 million deal that he got from Carolina looks pretty awesome right now, doesn't it? Especially when you got Dalvin Cook out there just trying to get $5 million now. Okay? Trey Sermon, special teams. Special teams. They'll need him there. Again, Now, look, overall, the room, the Swift move, here's what I'd like to see. If you had DeAndre Swift and you put Kareem Hunt back there, something like that, you could have LeGarrette Blount in a die kind of situation. Who's your red zone running back right now? Jalen? Okay. Quan goes, you'll see, Big Sills. I've already seen it. I've seen the show. I've seen Penny. I covered him for 3 years in college. I watched him in Seattle. I know who he is. You don't have to tell me we'll see. I know who he is. Okay? I know who he is. And I know, more importantly, what he is. He's a good dude, man. Tremendous dude. But you guys keep propping someone up, but you're lying. 5 to 6 yards a carry. Sills, isn't that great? Yeah. But you can't build a roster and you can't build a football team around a guy who plays and starts only 2 games. And that's why they went and drafted Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. And they ran him out of the building because of it. They weren't going to pay him. Carl goes, Sills is overlooking our guys again. What guys? What guys? You want to hear something even more remarkable? Let's say this. What are you paying Swift? 3? Penny, 2? Gainwell, 2? Scott, 2? So what are you paying? $8 million for 5 guys? Okay. Congratulations. You're paying 18 guys $8 million. And the guy in Kansas City wins with a 6th round running back who he's paying less than $1 million to. Okay. Guy in Buffalo, they're not paying anything for running backs. Cincinnati's getting ready to chop Joe Mixon off because they don't want to pay that position either. Well, you think this room here, I'll be curious too, all of you, you think this room with everyone on this list except for Gainwell and Boston Scott has a legacy of injuries, is going to replace 1,300 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns to take more heat? Here, with this room, you think Jalen runs for more attempts this year or less attempts? What did he have last year? 165? And he missed a couple games. So he was trending for 200 carries. That's more than the year before. So you think this room takes the pressure off of a guy last year who had 1,300 yards? You think this room collectively will have 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns? I'm putting everybody together from a year ago. All these guys. Where in the world would you get that from Penny? That he's going to contribute? Here, I'll let you win this argument. Give me one example that you can count on Rashad Penny to contribute to the Eagle running room. Why? Why would I do that? Or is Howie looking for a lightning bolt? About the same or less? Look, Swift is good. I think DeAndre Swift's going to bring maybe another dynamic, like maybe a screen game. So you think Hurts? I think Hurts runs more. The R is first in RPO. Remember that. So this is what I'm going to do to defend the Eagles this year. I'm going to test your room out immediately and put the ball in your quarterback's hands. And every time that guy gets that football in his hands, Jalen Hurts, I'm going to mug him. I am going to come off the top rope and put as many hats as I can on him, and I'm going to do everything I can to tenderize that guy, especially if I'm a divisional opponent. He's going to carry the ball more this year. See, they went cheap on running back. They didn't get a quality guy. There's no quality guy back here except Swift. There's no guy that's going. The objective was to have Jalen have more quality runs, not increase his carries. I don't want Jalen Hurts to stop running. I want more quality carries. Instead of seeing 18 carries for 75 yards, I want to see something like 8 carries for 75 yards. Like that. If you took 10 carries away per game from him, think about that. You're saving 170 carries off the guy. You're saving about 170 carries. You'd be saving the guy when it comes to getting hit. Right? Seals is so original. I'm sure teams weren't trying to do this. How could you do that when you had a 1,400-yard back? What did this guy JM, man? You must read half a book or watch half a movie. And by the way, they did do it to him because he missed ball games. And they did tenderize him. And he was hurt in the playoffs. Those are the facts. The Bears hurt him. The Bears. The shitty Bears. They hurt him. The Bears in a meaningless ball game. Because he was carrying the ball. So now you want to increase the carries because you think you got a good enough run. We'll fight. Hey, like you said, here we are on July 7th, and we'll see. Well, if you're on July 7th and you're saying we'll see, like you are with your linebacker room and your running back room, it's too late. It's a little too late. Holy cow. It's all right, man. See, I'm here to help. I'm a helper. Holy cow. Man. Woo. He did get hurt. And that was only on 165 carries. It's all good, man. JM, you could take the rest of the day off, man. It's all good now. I know your brain's probably overworked. Holy cow. That's a really great running back room. Okay. So the Lions give up on Swift. Just think about their mentality. They draft a kid out of Bama to replace him because they felt they weren't getting enough and he wasn't healthy enough. So they upgraded in their eyes. And you think you upgraded with both Nicholas Morrow, Rashad Penny, and another guy that they dealt so that they could draft a running back in the first round. But you somehow will sprinkle the Phil Jackson Zen dust on these guys, and these guys will turn into all pros. I got to take a time out, man. I need a break from guys like JM or GM, whatever he is. Holy cow. We got a really great running back room. You do? Okay. Every guy in that running back room, people have given up on. Lions quit on Swift. Seattle quit on Penny. Kenneth Gainwell in Boston stayed put because they know the market because their agents told them you ain't getting nothing out there. Your two headliners, both organizations quit on them. That's a lie. That's a lie. Hit the like button if you can. I know when you get the truth told to you, man. Gee, Sills, you think we're bad? No. I think you're talented in so many other places. Absolutely. But we're giving you a fair valuation here. We're not waving pom-poms. Oh, we got the best room on the planet. Our weekend's great. Hit the like button, man. Big Sills. Keep it here on the National Football Show.